Hey.
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 Hey. Welcome to another installment of Ask BP. It's the video supplement, I guess, to Battleship Pretension, which you can find at battleshippretension.com or subscribe to in iTunes. It's an audio podcast if someone stumbled across this on YouTube. It's about movies.
How fascinating would that be?
I know.
All right.
What you do is you tweet questions to us at The Pretension on Twitter, and we answer them in this video segment. They're usually about movies, but they don't have to be. At Radio Conalrad, who has written to us before, asks, is it just me, or are people not very interested in the Oscars this year? As far as I can tell, it's just you.
Yeah.
But also, I spend most of my day thinking about movies and listening to movie podcasts, so I might not have the best perspective. Maybe no one cares about the Oscars, but most of the people that I talk to do. Yeah. But that's not exactly a scientific sampling. Okay. Yeah. Oh, did you... Did that just sum it up for you?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone I know cares about them as much as they can be cared about.
Okay. At Trevor Cuss. His last name is Cuss with a K.
I feel like I'm watching Deadwood or something.
Are the mics you use for the Ask BP the same as you use for the podcast? And what kind of software do you use? Yes, they are. And if he's talking about the podcast, we record in GarageBand.
That's right.
For Macs.
Yes. Now, if you were wondering about the software for the Ask BP part, we use Photo Booth. Photo Booth.
Okay. At The Bloody Mess. That's a good name, right? Do you know that person?
Maybe.
Okay.
A listener sent me a film he made called A Bloody Mess.
Well, this is The Bloody Mess.
All right. Well, maybe it's not the same.
How do you feel about the reactions to your MacGuffin article? I wrote an article for The Quietist about MacGuffins that got a lot of fun negative comments, and stay tuned because that's what our next episode is about on the podcast.
About MacGuffins, not necessarily about his reaction.
Right.
Although we talk about that too.
Yes. At Andre Lucero, who has also written us before, and I still don't know how to say your name. Here's a question for you, he says. How does Roland Emmerich still have a job after making so many shitty movies?
David has a theory about this. David.
They keep making money.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it, right?
Yeah.
That's why that's why studios make movies, is to make money. They don't consider a movie a failure just because it's The Day After Tomorrow and it's a failure. It made money, so it's a success.
Yeah.
Okay, well, shit, we blew through those. Let's go on to the next one. This one is actually like a meatier question. This is from friend of the show at Pat_Francis.
Nice.
That's Pat Francis. He wants to know what was the most pretentious movie released in 2009. Now, I don't know about the most pretentious movie released because I didn't see them all.
Yeah.
I probably didn't see a lot of the more pretentious ones, too.
Yeah.
I think there are two cases to be made for pretentious movies that I saw, and these are both movies that I like. Okay. Okay. I think you could make a case that Inglourious Bastards is pretentious. Okay. Because it's a movie that works from the assumption that movies are the most important thing in the world and can save the world. Yeah. And that's a little pretentious. And I also think you could make the case for my favorite movie of the year, Where the Wild Things Are, being pretentious. Because it's kind of meant to appeal to people who read the book at a certain age and know the book and already feel a certain way about the book. Yeah.
But are definitely adults now and look back on the book with nostalgia, but like a very bittersweet kind of nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah. But just the fact that it's not really a kid's movie and it's not really a Universal. I don't know if Universal made it, but no, they didn't. Yeah. But you know what I mean. It's not a Universal type of. I gotta stop using that word. Yeah. That's why I think it might be pretentious. You quickly. I've talked too much. Okay. Instead of you talking too much, which is usually the case. Quickly.
500 Days of Summer.
Why?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I? Okay. Just because it's. David has commented that he uses this term perhaps too much. I think it was just trying a little too hard, and it wound up being pretentious, sort of, maybe a little bit, but certainly precious. Like it was just, every year there's a movie that is just trying so hard to seem perhaps more important than it is, and trying to kind of transcend its genre. And I'm kind of okay with that as long as it has an affectionate view of its genre. And I feel like the romantic comedy, there's nothing inherently wrong with it, except most of them are pretty bad. And 500 Days of Summer is trying to be like, oh, look, see, this genre isn't too bad. Look at all these things we're doing with it. Well, all you need to do is make a good movie. You don't have to try and throw in all these little tricks. There are certain elements, as will often be the case with most pretentious films. As David mentioned, he's a huge fan of 2 of them from this year. As is often the case, there are a couple sequences in 500 Days of Summer that are brilliant. But the rest of it just didn't do it for me, and I felt like it was just overreaching and just trying way too hard.
Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.
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 Bye.